Alright guys, this is going to be a very exciting video because finally, and I've kept this a secret for quite a while, but the Dakota is getting tuned today officially. I'm going to be leaving the house in probably a half hour or so and heading up to where it's getting tuned. We're going to put on a dyno, we're going to make a tune on it. It's going to be basically a base tune sort of deal. The truck's only making like 4.5, maybe peak 5 pounds of boost at the moment just to keep it safe. Plus I'm still on the stock injectors just with fuel pressure turned up because the eBay injectors were a total fail, which I need to make a video on because it'll be pretty interesting. I have new injectors for it, but I just want to get a base tune on it and see if there's anything else that I need to adjust or correct before I go and start changing the setup some more and upgrading stuff. Because if there's something, obvious that needs to be worked on or improved, or something that's a little bit more important, we'll find out while it's tuning. Or if the tune works out good, I'll be able to drive the truck and enjoy it for a while, even at the, low power tune that it's currently at. I'm hoping for around 200 wheel, which is because this engine makes like 180 at the crank stock. And given that it does have age to it, and being a rear-wheel drive, it's going to lose probably, on a good day, it would lose only about 20 horsepower getting to the wheels. So like, I'd say 160 at the wheels stock. So if we see 200 or anything close to that, I will be content with that. We're not going to go super crazy and try to squeeze everything out of it we can. I just want it to be a lot more drivable and just have, peace of mind knowing everything is working well together so far. I did do just a quick little, freshen up on everything, put new plugs in it. Realized I never put colder plugs in this. I thought I did, but I guess I never did. So it's got colder plugs in it and oil change because I hadn't done that since tearing the whole engine out and stuff. And I just did a quick bolt check. There was an oil leak, which we will talk about more later, but I'm pretty sure it's fixed. I'm going to keep an eye on it once we get up to the dyno. We'll see if it drips anymore, but it was a very slow leak at the oil drain, so it wasn't of that big of a deal, but it could have been a big deal if I hadn't caught it soon enough. So glad I caught it, fixed everything. The truck is ready to make the drive over and get tuned. I have been tweaking the tune myself quite a bit. It cruises a hell of a lot better than it used to. You guys saw it if you watched the live stream where I went and drove it. You guys got to hear it and see how well it is actually running right now, but we will have documented proof of it after today. I'm gonna head up there, we're gonna tune this thing, see how much power it makes, and see how good we can get it running with the Mega Squirt on the 3.9. So I will see you guys when we are at the shop. I've arrived, we're all set, truck made it here, no issues with it on the drive up. Had ran into a lot of traffic and stuff because, that's just how Toledo, Ohio is. There's traffic backups and construction and potholes and all that fun stuff. We are here and I'm just waiting for them to show up so we can roll this thing in and get started on the tune. Got the truck strapped up, it's running right now, it's all ready to go. He's gonna start tweaking stuff, laptop's hooked up to it. I've never heard it from the outside. No? No, I've been the only one to drive this. I never let anybody else drive it. It's just, the thing's so hard to drive for somebody that's not used to it, especially with the tune being spotty. Right. I can't tell if that's all steam or a mix of fuel in there. Take a little bit again. It smells like it now. Flat pretty much, and 285 torque. Way more than I was expecting out of it. I didn't think it was going to make 200 over 200 off the first rip. How much more room is there on the injectors then?
I'm going to look right now, I gotta see.
It means we're not at max on them. Made pretty much the same power and torque. At least we know it's consistent. guys can't see me, but tune is done, and I'm gonna go for the first drive. So, see how this goes. Feels a lot happier about it. Power band's a lot flatter. We did have issues with intake temps getting pretty high, but we think it's mostly because of the direction that the turbo faces, and it's pulling hot air in from the wastegate. But it made good flat power, no weird issues, no dramas, nothing like that. I'll get it on it one more time, starting at first. The tire spun really bad too, so I didn't get a big punch. Surge of torque when you get on it, it's at like 3,500 RPM, or if I remember right, it's towards the middle of the power band. You notice that. That surge of torque is crazy. There's the first drive after the tune. Did pretty good. Hopefully the camera picked it up pretty well. I think this is the first official driving clip I've ever gotten of this thing. Tire spin and axle hop. Oh, I love this thing. And now we know what needs to be done. That was kind of the point of this first tune, was just to figure out where it's at and where I need to look to make improvements next. The injectors, of course, are pretty much maxed out. And then the exhaust setup needs to be upgraded. And there's some, I mean, that's really it. Once that is done, the turbo is plenty for the power level it's at. The intercooler is pretty good for this power level too. So injectors and exhaust, and we'll be pretty well set. Alright, I am back at the house, and now I'll just give you guys a recap on how everything went and what I was able to gather from the whole, tuning experience with the truck. It's the first time the thing's ever seen a dyno. It's my second time going there and having him tune my stuff. He's the same guy that tuned the Eclipse. And it's funny because it's actually the same exact ECU that came out of the Eclipse and some other random parts from that car as well. Our biggest limiting factor is two things right now. The first one is injectors, which I knew was going to be an issue. They just don't pump enough fuel through them. They're pretty much maxed out at this point. But I knew that was going to be a problem. I had the eBay 60-pounders on here, and they were just complete junk, unusable. And I have a set of Bosch 60-pounders, which are 12-hole spray pattern, good injectors, but they're 10 mil shorter than stock injectors, so I have to modify my fuel rail brackets, and it's going to be a whole video on its own. But that'll be, I already have the stuff to do that, so that'll be a real good video for the next week or two. Get some new injectors on it, and then it should have better throttle response, and the fuel map should be a lot better once there's some upgraded injectors instead of these old random ones that I bought online for really cheap. And then the other thing is intake temps are getting really high, and the reason for it is the location of the turbo. And I knew when I designed this exhaust and put it together that it was going to cause a whole bunch of different problems with really high intake temps and back pressure and all that stuff. It's actually worked better than I could have expected it to, because I honestly thought this exhaust setup was going to not be able to even make 200 horsepower, which 200 horsepower or 206 horsepower and 280 something torque. I can't remember what it was. It was over 285 was the most we were able to get out of it. It was pretty much consistent the whole way through. It made the horsepower curve was really nice and flat. I'll insert a picture of the dyno graph here on the highest reading pull. And it makes 285 pound-feet of torque is nuts. That's why this thing feels so quick at first, and it kind of levels off. I think I've mentioned that in videos before. But to fix the intake temp issue, I basically have to make a new exhaust, which is one of the next things I'm going to be doing. I think I mentioned wanting to do that in a video like a couple videos ago. I did a live stream where I talked about wanting to redo the exhaust. So I'm going to be redoing that. I'm going to put a driver's side manifold, another one that I have on that junk engine that I have in there, and put it on the passenger side, and I'm going to run the exhaust together, try to kind of equal out the lengths of the exhaust runners a little bit, and then we'll have the turbo spun around 180 degrees, so the inlet on the turbo is facing towards the front of the truck, which will allow fresh air to just run in, and then the wastegate will be relocated as well, and then the new exhaust system will also flow a lot better. He said that, and I pretty much agree with him on this, that for the power levels I'm going for and everything, that T3, T4 turbo, the eBay turbo, is the perfect size for the amount of power and amount of torque I want, the amount of responsiveness that it gives and everything. So turbo's not holding us back. I was looking at getting a different turbo for a little while, but I think I'm just going to run that thing until we max it out or intake temps start getting really high from pushing the thing too hard. I got an oil leak to fix, which I'll talk about in a later video. And then after that, I mean, this thing's going to be ready to make a lot more power and a lot more boost. Basically, we just couldn't do anything with ignition timing or do any of that because we could if the intake temps had been lower, it would have made more just to start with. It would have made more, and then we would have been able to put more ignition timing into it. But with how hot that air is going into it, I think the intake temps were like 130, he was saying. It would pretty much pre-detonate very easily if we were to try pushing too much timing into it or turn the boost up, which is why I wanted to get this first tune done, get the drivability of the truck pretty dialed, and then know what my next few upgrades should be, which were pretty much the upgrades I planned on doing, but now I have evidence of why I should be doing it and why that should be the next thing, which is upgrading the injectors, which obviously injectors are a good upgrade to do anyway, and then the exhaust setup, which will fix the intake issue and free up a lot of the back pressure it currently has. So also I got to ride in a 400 wheel horsepower Evo, which was insane. That's the fastest car I think I've ever been in. I don't think I've ever been in anything that quick. So that was an incredible experience. Soto is really cool. I think he has an Instagram, so I will try to link it or put his tag here. I don't remember what it is exactly, but I'll put it either on the video here and I'll have it in the description as well, so you guys can go follow him. And if you're from the Toledo area and you want to have him tune something, he will do pretty much anything. As long as it's EFI, of course. So, and he's also getting his hands on an all-wheel drive dyno at some point, he said. So, for now, it's rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive only, no all-wheel drive stuff, but I know he's working on getting something all-wheel drive to tune on also. That's going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this and hope you're looking forward to the next few stages of this build. Hopefully, we can see over 300 pound-feet of torque and over 250 horsepower next time we go up there. So, with all that said, I'm going to end the video here, and I will see you guys later.